All right, so you get a report at the front desk that something's going on with maybe a Precor AMT or a Precor elliptical. That's all the Precor equipment that we have currently. So if the most important thing is to find out which number of machine it is. Sometimes not everyone knows what each individual piece of equipment is, so make sure if you're working on an elliptical, it's an elliptical. If it's an AMT, it's an AMT. So to get to all the service documentation or kind of troubleshooting documents, you're going to use a website called Precor Connect. So I'm going to type in on the computer Precor Connect and hit search. The first one that's going to be popped up is going to be a Precor connection. You're going to want to click on that. So after you click on it, you'll come to this website. Hopefully you can see it, but it will kind of guide you through different, lower it a little bit, so hopefully you can make things out. But so on this website, you'll have a couple different options at the top. You'll have service documentation, training, protect your investment, owner's manual. This will be super helpful with all of the serial numbers associated with each machine. So the first step is to find out which number of machine it is, 18, 19, whatever, 20. And then you can go on to the asset management or the asset spreadsheet on the G drive and find whatever serial number that you're looking for, and that's how you're going to find the piece of equipment that you're looking up. So let's say that we're looking up a Precor AMT. You'll go to the box, you'll copy the serial number, and then from there what you'll do is you'll have it on the dashboard. You go to service documentation, you can go to assembly guides, click on assembly guides, and then over here you'll have a bunch of different ways to look things up, but you're going to want to look it up by serial number, and then you're going to paste the serial number from the spreadsheet and hit the search button. And after it searches, you'll see that it has an AMT 12 base service manual or an exploited view. So first let's look at the exploited view. There's a link over here on the left hand side. You can view it or download it. If you want to just view it, you click on the link. It'll ask you to download it. Download it. After it's done downloading, you can double click on it and it'll open it up, and then this is how you can tell what part numbers you need. So all these little bubbles are associated with which parts go to which piece of equipment depending on what you think you might need. Pretty straightforward. A lot of the belts are pretty obvious, but it might help to kind of go through the machine, take it apart, try to put it back together, and then you'll be able to see. It's really easy to take apart. There's actually instructions on how to do that on here as well. But on this, to compare what numbers these bubbles are, you'll have to go back to the main page, and then you will need to go to Precor.com, I believe. So you're going to be commercial fitness, because we're commercial, and I'm trying to do this off of the, I don't think that's the right one I want. So the part documentation would be exploited view and parts list. So if you click on the exploited view and parts list, it'll take a minute to load, and again you're going to search over here on the right hand side by serial number, paste the serial number, search for it. So here it'll give you an exploited view and the service manual, but it doesn't look like it gives you the parts. So the exploited view is going to be the one that we just had up here. This is the exploited view. So you'll have to compare this document with the bubbles and try to find the parts list on this website. It should have it. I'm just not really sure where to find it at this time. But the service manual over here on the left-hand side is super helpful when troubleshooting anything. If you click on the service manual, save it, and then open it. It's still downloading. So it'll kind of run through every possible scenario on here. Preventative maintenance after each use, daily, weekly, quarterly maintenance. But also on here is going to be kind of how-tos. So you'll see kind of at the bottom here how to do H-brake belt tension adjustments, the generator belt assessment, and change out. And it'll go through step by step on how to do it. It's all pretty helpful information, and this is for all Precor equipment. So you can utilize this website pretty frequently to find out different things about what you're trying to, whatever it may be for troubleshooting something, or if it's, let's say it's you think you know what an issue is, or you need to get into diagnostics. It's pretty straightforward. On here it'll kind of go step by step on how to do so. I'm trying to find the parts list. So if I look by serial number, it's still going to just give me the exploited view. So I wonder if I view it. Service documentation. So if I go to the owner's manual, there's really no place to type in a serial number, but if I'm looking at the AMTs, a commercial series, I believe we have the 835s, and you can also find that on the Excel spreadsheet. If you click on it, it'll just kind of give you a general owner's manual outline. It won't give you any parts specifically. So this is going to be really helpful when trying to do certain procedures, or when you're trying to do like a belt change, or trying to see a parts diagram. So when you're talking on the phone to the actual tech on the phone from Precor, you can say it's bubble number whatever to the tech guy on the phone, and that'll be pretty helpful to tell them what you're kind of looking at and what you need. So trying to see, so purchase parts wants you to log in. So I created a login. You might not have to create a login, but it might be beneficial to look at it. So if you browse the public parts sales site, you could look up by serial number, paste, search it. And then this is in Spanish, which is super unhelpful. But if I click on it, I wonder what'll bring it up. So even though it's in Spanish, you can look at the part number. So these bubbles over here will correspond to the bubbles on this page. So let's take this number 62 and 64 belt as a reference. So 62 is going to be right here, this belt poly V32, and where's 64? This might not be for the right machine because it didn't have the right serial number. Yeah, so this is actually for an elliptical, not for an AMT. So let me go back and go to the spreadsheet, And if I click on this and copy the serial number and then go into the parts list, if I search by serial number again, see if it brings up anything different. It does not. So I'm not sure if this should be the right serial number because it brought up the exploited view, but anyways, to kind of cut this video out, but so that's generally speaking how you're going to find all the different types of Precor how-tos, parts list, parts, but it'll be super helpful when trying to diagnose something or talking to a tech on the phone. So I hope that helps. Sorry it was a little jumbly, but just trying to make sure it works here. So